Hey guys, it's Nikole-the-Notary, and I'm really happy that you are here with me today. I wanted to just make a really quick video to give you some tips because I know there's a lot of new signing agents out there. And one of the things that I needed assistance on when I was new was how do you start? Not how do you start to become a notary? I had that down, but when I'm in front of a borrower, how do I start? What do I do? What do I do? So that's what this video is going to show you. Okay. So, cue the intro. All right, guys. So, welcome to your notary journey. Your journey to becoming a good notary. See what I did there? Um, one of the things that you are going to have to do is introduce yourself. You are also going to have to set the tone for the rest of your session, okay? And all that starts at the beginning. It starts before you get to the door, but it also starts at the door, okay? So the minute you meet your borrowers or your signers, that is when your preview starts. So they start scoping you out. They check out what you got on. What kind of shoes are you wearing? What do you have in your bag? Do you have their documents? Do you look and feel like you know what you're going to be doing with them? So I feel like it's important for you to take charge right away. You are in their house, but while you are in a signing, it is your domain, right? So you run that. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with this because you literally are in their home. And so it's hard to how dare you come in my house and take charge? No, we have a responsibility to outline exactly what it is we're going to be doing with them and to ensure that they know that they need to listen to you when it comes to the instructions that you provide. Okay. So some of us are goofy. I'm one of them people. I like to interject a little bit of goof into my sessions. Other people are very timid and calm. No matter what you are, you have to find your you. Okay, I call it my me, right? You have to find your me in how you're going to present your documents. A term that I want us to all be familiar with on my channel is the presentment. Okay, so I got this from one of my favorite notaries, Kathleen Butler down in Texas, but she actually talks about the presentment of documents, and that is something I've adopted from her. I'm just going to steal it because I love it. It is the presentment of documents. So as a notary signing agent, I specialize in the presentment of real estate transaction documents or closing documents or however you like to say that. But that's what I feel my specialty is, okay? So when I'm meeting a signer, so we've already done a confirmation. So if you have not listened to my confirmation call, I'm going to show you my confirmation call here. It's really more based around COVID times. So if you're watching this video and we are outside of COVID times, thank you, God. However, I do, you can still apply it even outside of COVID times too. Okay, just kind of take some of the verbiage out of there. But when you are first walking up to your door, okay, you want to make sure that you're not fumbling around, okay, because they might be watching you out the windows. Think about how nosy you are when people are walking around in your neighborhood. You might not be that person, but you might be that person. You know of a neighbor, somebody is that person, right? So you have to be aware that people are watching you. And today, something you might not even be thinking of is a lot of the properties that I go to, they have camera systems. So there are monitors on me from the time that I pull into the driveway or past the mailbox or even down the street to the time that I come up to the door. People have those little Nest cams. They have cameras hidden in their gardens. Like, people are doing the most. And I think it's hilarious, but I get it. But it's still funny. So if you are digging in your nose in the car, they see you. If you are talking on the phone, going off on somebody, they see that too. And that's not the impression you want to give when you are going into somebody's home to be there, especially in these times. Okay, so what I want to say to you is, I'm just going to tell you kind of how I do it. So if I have to do anything at all that is not related to getting out of the car, I do that before and down the street from their home. Okay, so I use Google Maps. Sometimes I use Waze. Not really. I like Google Maps better. But I know when I'm going to be approaching, like, the courtyard or the house or the street or the driveway or whatever. I know when I'm getting there. Even if it's in a high rise, like I had a guy the other day, he was on the 19th floor of a building and he saw me and was like, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to call you and tell you don't park there because that's," he's like, "'cause they'll tow your car if you park there." I'm like, "Okay, well, thank you." But that would, like, he didn't even know that was me, but he did because what we talked about earlier. Um, in addition to that, so kind of get all that out of the way before you get out of in the zone of the customer's area, right? So in their neighborhood, all right? The other thing is that for me, if I have multiple assignments in a day, I am constantly rotating out documents. So when I walk into their home, their documents are in my purse, in my notary bag. And if you don't remember what's in my notary bag, I'm going to put that video right there too. Um, so you will have access to kind of see what's in my notary bag. But I always keep just a single customer's documents in my bag, unless it's like a single doc. Then maybe I can put all of that in there at once. But I do go in with just their docs, and that's both sets. So I have a green folder and a manila folder. Um, the green folder's for me, and it goes back to title. The manila folder's for my customers, okay? And it stays with them just because, like, they don't get it. They don't understand the green, It's a thing. Um, so in addition to that, what else did I want to say? Okay, so that's in my purse. My keys, I keep those out because that's what I ring a doorbell with. I am a germaphobe, I've told you this before, but I also have seen enough broken doorbells and stuff that I'm not touching that because if that electrocutes me, like, I don't even know how that would work out with, them paying for my medical bills and reimbursing me for life and all that stuff. Um, so I don't want to chance it. I don't want to risk it. But anyway, so I use my keychain, my key, to ring any doorbells or anything like that. I just don't like touching stuff because fingers and. Ugh. Aside from that, so as soon as I do that, like, even before, like, I ring the doorbell, I will just kind of listen. And just kind of see what's going on in the home. So there's a great video from the NNA. One of the former NNA folks is or one of the NNA ambassadors, I think. I think she was an ambassador. I don't know. She was a former cop or detective, I think. And she did a whole video on how to be alert as a notary. And so I've kept that in my little repertoire of tools. And I always kind of listen and look around and make sure that it looks safe. I mean, you never know if something's safe, but you can definitely know if something's not safe, right? So it doesn't hurt to just kind of look and be cautious and aware. So when I ring the doorbell, I make sure that, like, my mask is secured, my bag is comfortably sitting on my shoulder. I don't try to fidget while I'm waiting for them to come to the door. So when they come to the door, it's Hi, my name is Nicole. And sometimes, like most of the time, especially with the signing services that I use, they already know. Like, first of all, we've already confirmed. But second of all, they've seen my picture because the signing services, they send that out. If you didn't know, your picture goes out to all your customers. Um, but they do that. And like I had a lady the other day, she's like, "Oh, I like your hair curly because I don't know if I liked it straight." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that input. That's lovely, and thank you. It is a good hair day. I appreciate it." Some people you just gotta, roll with it, whatever. But yeah. So when I go into the home, the first thing I do is I look around, just to kind of see how many people are there. Is everybody wearing a mask? Because I've asked. If they are not wearing a mask, I don't budge. Um, I just kind of gesture and ask them to go ahead and grab their mask, and then I wait. And usually, like, I had a guy today, like, he's just like, "Oh, you want us? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, we did talk about that." Because I do that in my confirmation call. I can't expect them to know what I want unless I've already expressed what I want for a successful signing and what needs to be in place for a successful signing. So you taking charge really does start on that confirmation call. Um, so I wait and then they grab their masks or whatever. Everybody's secured in a mask. Then I walk in because I don't know where I'm going once I'm in their home. If their table is right next to the door and they don't have their masks on, then I'm sitting around in front of them while they're breathing on me. I don't want that. Like, I know we all have varying opinions on this, but for me, it's safety, and nah, I'm not doing that. So I do wait, and that's the first thing. That can be kind of odd, but it's what has to be done. I don't care. Um, in addition to that, then I come in the home and I look down. If there are shoes at the front door, I instantly ask, "Would you like me to take my shoes off?" And most times they'll say no. Sometimes, like if they have carpet, they will say yes. Okay, so just be prepared for that. There's a lot of not companies. There's a lot um, of signers who will want you to remove your shoes. Okay. In addition to that, the next thing I ask is, okay, where would you like me? If they don't lead you, so like some people will ask you for water, some people will ask you if you wanted cookies. I had a lady making brownies. She made brownies for me, and oh, I don't need other people's cooking, but I have to say no because yeah, it's COVID. Um, I'm extra with it, and I know that, but that's okay because that's me and that's my service. Um, in addition to that, what else do I do? Yeah, so they start to chat you up. How was your drive? Did you find the place okay? Yes, make the casual conversation. As soon as there's an opening, okay, where would you like me? Sometimes they'll gesture you to where you should go. We want you over here in the kitchen. And sometimes you're in a place that's nice. They have options. Like, I love that when they're like, "Well, we could go over here in the living room," or "I was thinking also the dining room over here," or "There's a bar in the kitchen that we could, a breakfast bar that we could sit at," or "There's a little nook with a great view." And it's like, I just want the space that has a flat surface with as much distance between us as possible. And that's what I asked for on the phone. So which one is it? I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. Most times I say, I look and if I see obstacles or things that like might be challenging, then I choose the other one, or ask them to do things. Now, 9 times out of 10, or not nine, I would say 5 out of 10 times you will get to a table and the table has a centerpiece, and that centerpiece sits dead in between you and your signers. That's not good. You want to maintain eye contact. You need to be able to see if they're under duress, if there's anything that's causing them concern or strife on their side of the table. You need to be able to see that. So you want a clear line of visual communication with them. So if there is a centerpiece, I don't move it. I'm not touching anything that is theirs. I don't want to break anything. It's not my place to touch it. And people get weird about stuff. I know I'm weird. Like, you can't come in my home and move my stuff. I will ask them, hey, would it be okay if you move this to the side? And I'll gesture, move this to the side over here. I will give them a suggestion. Other times, like, if they don't take my suggestion, they'll move it. Like, it's not usually a big deal. Now, I had a couple the other day who they wanted to sit at their dining room table, and they also used this dining room table for their puzzles. And this was like a family project of puzzles, and it was a huge puzzle, and I was really afraid that we were going to knock it over or like push it out of place, because they had already had a significant amount of it complete and they were really close to completion. So I did not verbally ask them. I just did it with my body language, like, just kind of like querying the table or whatever, just trying to like find a place for my things. That's kind of the other cue that you can give them is you've got a lot of stuff and it needs to go somewhere, and we need to have a line of communication where I can pass documents between us. So this isn't like if you've seen loan signing videos from anybody, if you're taking loan signing system, or if you've seen anyone else do loan signings, you are at their table, but it's COVID season, so you should be having a good bit of distance between you. So you're not necessarily next to the signers like you would have been before. You're on the other side of the table from them, and so you're doing things a little bit different. I know Laura Bueller likes to give them their own stack. For my own reasons, I found that for me, that's unsuccessful. Because I get people who are like, "Oh, I got a stack of papers. Which one do I sign?" And then they start to get confused, and they like to go through the documents and read them and hang on to them and ask lots and lots and lots and lots. And we're gonna trim all that down. I give you each of the documents that you need to sign, and we go in rapid succession, like I'm throwing money at you. But uh, you just make sure that there is a good flow, okay? And to do that, you need to make sure that you have space, right? So if you've got two signers, I do have them across from me, and I try, if they're husband and wife, I ask them to kind of get together, and any excuse is okay with that. You can say, so you can read the documents at the same time, so that you can sign quicker between each other, whatever it is for the couple that you're working on, because each thing is not going to work for everybody. Like some couples are just like, oh, we'll use one pen. That's how you know you're going to be there for a really long time. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about your intro. So you're still on your intro. So let me reel it back. So you are setting up. You're pulling out your notary stamp. You've pulled out your paper, your documents, your document packages. You have your pen. You have your notary journal. Okay, I'm trying to go through like the whole setup in my head. And then while you're setting up, so like I put on gloves, I do the hand sanitizer and put on gloves, and then I'm ready, right, to review their IDs. I ask them for their IDs. I also prep them on the confirmation call to go ahead and have an extra form of ID in case I have to do a 2-form Patriot Act. And the way that I do documents, like I've trained myself so that I'm not someone who needs to get documents like a day in advance or like a half a day in advance. I can get a document package in like 30 minutes before the signing, print it, and go. And I've just kind of trained myself so that I'm not reliant on having to do stickies. I'm not reliant on any of that kind of stuff. You do get surprises sometimes, um, but not really. If there's ever a question, it's usually because it's something I can't answer, even though I know the answer, right? Um, so what else? Okay, so when I am talking to the signers, I ask them for their IDs. I go ahead and take those IDs. I confirm their identity right there. So I look at the IDs, I look at them, and like that puts them in the frame of mind that like I'm doing what I need to do. For them, I first pass them the closing disclosure and the settlement statement, and I ask them to go ahead and look through that, and I take that moment to fill in my notary journal with their name and information and stuff. And the reason for that is so that if this signing cancels, like let's say that the closing disclosure is not what they wanted to see, I'm already ready in my document in my journal so that they can sign that and I can leave, right? I don't have to like do anything extra for that. Anyway, so they're looking through that, and then when I get done, and then or when I get to a point where like sometimes they have really really long names, so like the timing kind of doesn't work out. If they're done with the closing disclosure and they say, "Oh yeah, we got this 3 days ago, looks just like what we saw. Yep, we're good," then I start. Okay, and so for me, starting is okay. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Hobub, um, thank you for having me in your home. My name is Nicole Maxwell, and I will be your notary signing agent today. As a notary signing agent, my primary duty is to confirm your identity, so thank you for providing your IDs for me. In addition to that, I would like you to know that we will be going through some documents today. As such, I do need to confirm, are you both here of your own free will, and can you confirm that no one has forced or coerced you to sign these documents today? And while I'm doing that, I'm looking them dead in their eye. Like I get both of their eyeball attention. Like there's a way you can do it. Like you just have to, I don't know, I've just practiced and I can't do it with this camera, but it's just not the same. Uh, so, I just make sure that they know that that's my second job is to confirm that you are here of your own free will and that no one is forcing or coercing you to sign these documents, and that you are of sound mind and presence to sign the documents today. Okay. So then what I say is this, and I kind of twist this into my all around oath, right? So then I say, I grab the packet of documents and that I have in front of me, and I kind of put my hand on it like this, and I say, these are mortgage documents. Mortgage documents are protected by the federal government. As such, instances of fraud and or malicious, what do I usually, dang it, I messed up. I have to rewind it in my head. Instances of fraud are investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and as such are punishable by imprisonment and or hefty fines. And then they look at me like, oh, really? And then I have their attention again. Okay. Um, As such, do you swear and or attest to provide truthful information and represent to me that you are the persons who are supposed to be here and signing these documents with me today? And then they say yes. And if they don't say yes, like if they say I swear, that's great. If they don't say yes and they just go, then like I had one girl, she just cracked up. She cracked up laughing and she's like I don't know what the heck was so funny because most people are just like, oh wow, really? But she literally just busted out laughing and I was like, okay. And she's like, oh yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, okay. So you need to get that verbal confirmation back. Yes. Okay. Um, And then I start, and then we say, okay, so does a closing disclosure look good to you? And then they're going to say yes. And I said, okay, you have your blue pens, because most of us, now not all of us, but most of us are in areas where they want us to sign in blue pen. That's usually like an industry standard, especially out where I am. Um, and so then that's my confirmation to myself that they have blue pens. Now, the blue pen thing, I don't know what it is, but I have had like a string of people say, like, let's see, like this, and they'll be like, no, sorry, not that. I gotta find one. I have like 8 billion pins over here. Okay, so I don't know. I don't have one that's a good example because I straight don't have any anymore that are not blue. But so, like, they'll look at the pin and the pin will have a blue case, but the ink is black. Like, I don't know what that is or why people don't just bother to just write down a little something something. But I've gotten signers lately who have just been like, oh, well, it looked blue to me. I'm like, well, it's not. Anyway, those are all voices I use in my head when I'm talking to signers. I'm telling you, you gotta have fun. Um, so then I say, do you have your blue pens available? Which, by the way, in my confirmation call, I do say, you're going to want to find your favorite blue pen and bring that to the signing with you. And if you don't have one, then I do. And I do. I have my backups in my bag, so that if they don't have one, that's not stopping the show. Okay. In addition to that, then I ask them, hey, so have you had a chance to review the closing disclosure? And then they say yes. And then I go through the first page of the closing disclosure and then ask them if they have any concerns. If they say no, then okay, now you can go ahead and sign the closing disclosure and the also settlement statement. Boom. And that's it. And then we proceed through the signing like you normally would. Okay. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to impart to you today is the way that I introduce myself to the signers. I don't feel like you have to give them some big, huge speech about who you are and what you do. You can if they seem interested in that, but it's just going to take additional time off of your signing. Um, yeah, so it works well for me, and if you like it, great. Maybe you can incorporate it or some kind of version of it into your routine, into your presentment routine. um, if not, then do what works for you. So what works for you? Tell me in the comments, what are you doing? How do you introduce yourself? Do you use a script? Do you use Bill's script? Do you use Mark's script? Have you kind of tweaked it to make your own? I just did what felt comfortable for me, and that's what feels comfortable to me. I don't have to tell them. Let me say that, I've never had to tell them how much of a document I'm going to be relaying to them. I never have had to tell them, oh, I'm going to be reading you a brief description. I've never had to say I'm only going to be reading you titles. I do what I'm going to do, and then I adjust what I do based on their reaction. So if I'm witnessing that they are comfortable with the level of descriptor I'm giving them, then I'll leave it at that. If not, then I allow them to ask a question. If it's something that in my realm of being a notary I can answer, then I do. If not, I let them know, we can call, or we can save this until the end and then call. If this is a deal breaker, we should call now. So that we can get it ironed out. So if they have deal breakers or if they have something that's critical to their desire to close, I don't rely on the notice of right to cancel, which stay tuned. I got a video on notice of right to cancel coming soon. I don't rely on that. That is not, to me, the answer to a successful signing is, oh, just sign it. You have the notice of right to cancel. I don't ever throw that around. In fact, that is the last document that I present every single time, because I have a special way of doing it, which you'll see in the video that I'm going to do called Notice of Rights to Cancel. But anyway, so this video's gone on a little bit longer than it should have. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something valuable in what I said. If not, then I enjoyed talking to you for the last 30 minutes or so. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for hanging out with me. And thank you for being on this journey with me to become a good notary. Have a good night and bye, or good day whenever you're watching this. Bye. Leave me comments and let me know what you thought. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And we're going with the outro.